Welcome to These Are Good Days with Leanne Miller.
And Matt Barris.
Well, Matt, here we are, crossed over into 2024. we made 2023. It happened.
We did it.
And we're in 2024. Time is a funny thing.
We've talked about this last year. We're not big resolutions people. If you are, that's great.
Yeah.
But I will say there is something about the new year that feels different and it feels fresh.
Yes.
And it feels like there's new opportunities and new things ahead.
Yes.
And I do love that about the new year.
Yeah, I do too.
No, I don't want anyone to hold my feet to the fire about a resolution. Oh, let's not get crazy.
Don't make me step on no scale every Friday morning.
That's right. But I do love that feeling.
I do
love
too.
That fresh feeling.
Yeah, I do too.
So,
and I like to think about the future as like, here we are in a new year.
I know.
And, I will say as you get older, because I'm 55.
Ding, ding, ding.
As you get older, time it feels different.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier today, that, in your 30s and 40s, you're like figuring out your career and you're like pushing yourself and am I doing everything I should be doing? And am I doing it well? Am I doing it right?
Plus, if you have kids in the mix. Ooh.
Yeah. Am I in the right job? All of that. And then when you get in your 50s, it's like, it just feels different. It feels like, I can settle down with those thoughts.
Yeah.
I can settle in and
that's fair.
And I am who I am. And let's just drink frothy coffee and
wear swan moo-moos.
Yes, and just enjoy,
just relax in a moo-moo,
and just enjoy what my life has created.
Totally.
Because you're creating it. You're busy creating it in 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
In your 50s, you're sitting in the results of all those choices.
Right. Totally.
So yeah.
Wow, that was really deep.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's true because it's not like you have the next 30 years to completely, can you recreate yourself in your 50s? Sure. Do you want to? Most people don't.
Right.
And I think that you sit and you go, okay, what, like I'm in the fourth quarter now. Like, like what do I really value? What do I really want to sit with? Who do I really want to spend my time with? I'm not going to say yes to people that I just know that I don't want to invest my time and my energy and stuff in. And that's not to say that I don't care about people.
Totally.
But you really just kind of sit with like, here is my fourth quarter and how do I want to live it?
Absolutely.
And, it's not like we can go, we don't have a time machine.
Right. Well, you have a whole year of new expectations. You know what? We actually, before we get to our good day, we got together recently and set some goals for 2024 for the podcast, and it was really fun.
Are we going to call them goals?
No, I know we don't. That's not our style.
No, can we just say we have some hopes and
dreams,
some promises to ourselves,
hopes and dreams. We have. I'll say two things. If you are in our podcast family and you have been here from day one, we do have two things I'll share. One is we have some exciting events that we have kind of slated for the future that make me really excited.
Me too.
Actually I have three. Some partnerships that we have some dream lists and we have some dream guests. And so if you are one of those people that's in our podcast family and you've been around for a while and you're like, oh, I want to encourage these guys, we are always like, pray for us.
Right.
We'd love to know what you want.
And
if
listen,
you have ideas,
if you haven't left a review on Apple or rated our podcast on Spotify, we just want to encourage you to do that if you're enjoying this, because it really does make a difference. It really does help. And that's just happened organically, Matt. We haven't really, we don't really ask for that, but
no.
But I guess today I'm saying like, hey, if you've been thinking, I want to go rate that, I want to go leave a review, please do that for us, because it really does matter to us.
Absolutely. Hey, well, we had, honestly, on this good day, I could pick a lot of good days.
Me too.
Because I had so many good days. But I will tell you, one of my best days of break was our friends Emma and Adrian were here. They live in New York City. They used to live in
New York
Worcester.
City.
Bush's Baked Beans. That's a throwback. New York City. But they were here for a week, actually, over the holidays. And I think we spent like 2 or 3 full days with them because they were visiting family and friends from college and that kind of thing. And what are you eating?
I'm eating, listen, Boo Boo's peanut butter, like oat cake granola bars. If you are listening, these are so good. B-O-B-O.
They're from Boulder, Colorado.
It's so good.
Do you want to take the whole thing out of the package?
Yeah, so I don't wrinkle.
Yeah,
and
it's really distracting for me.
Sorry. It's so delicious.
So anyway, our friends Emma and Adrian were here from New York City. They brought their dog Nana, and it was really fun having them here. We see them maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And having people in your home around the holidays can be really stressful, but they're not stressful for us. They're like,
well, they had other plans too. It wasn't like they were looking every day,
absolutely
staring at you like.
But where we did go is we went to Toyrifics because we had those Toyrifics. If you are listening. They wanted some of those Nidos because we had some in the house, and we ended up buying Lego sets for the kids. Remy got the cutest porcelain tea set. And
you ended up buying a game for me, and I'm not a gamer.
Yeah, that magnet with the string game that everyone's playing.
What do they call it? Magnetic chess or something?
That's what Amazon calls it. I'm not sure what the real name is.
We don't know.
Our kids got a little Christmas money that was burning a hole in their pocket, so we had to go to Toyrifics to spend their Christmas money.
That's so good.
So
That's
those were our
awesome.
good days.
My good day, we had such a great break. Teddy, our oldest son, and his girlfriend MG, and Joey, our youngest son, were home for like 6 days.
That's so awesome.
We just, we don't plan a lot. We really don't. We had 2 things that we planned. One of them was Bagels and Lox with you, Mallory, and Kat for like a brunch. And the other one, 3 things. The other one was what we call Amish Christmas, where
with
Daryl's whole side, there's like 60 people. So that was really fun. And we all kind of laughed because we went to Amish Christmas and had Mexican. And then
did they make Mexican or order it out?
It was really good. No, we made it, and it was really good.
That's
there
funny.
Were quesadillas. Like there was a griddle where you could make your own quesadillas, but I ended up making the quesadillas because it was just faster.
That's so funny.
It was delicious. Like it was a really good idea.
Was that on Christmas Day?
Christmas Eve. And then we did a brunch with my niece and nephew and their spouses and families, which was awesome. Really, really sweet. And then we just the only thing away from home was Amish Christmas.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say about, sometimes we have to put boundaries in place with family members and we don't get together with everyone at the holidays. But those family members that you do get together with, it is important.
Totally.
And I would say our good day is just reconnecting with some of those people and just seeing how their year went and, just catching up. We have a nephew that's getting married. We have a niece that's getting married on our Amish side, and just, catching up on their lives and being excited for them, and our boys just seeing them. And our youngest son, Joey, said, do you think we could get together with the Amish family over the summers? Because we see each other twice within a 2-month period, and then it feels like we go a whole year without seeing each other again. And I thought that was
you guys should do like a little Father's Day thing.
We should, or and just like a cookout.
Yeah.
One thing really great that happened, and then we'll get on with our podcast because my good day is melting into like
the week.
Yeah, is Daryl was talking with his mom and dad on Christmas Eve, and they were asking Daryl about what we were doing on Christmas Day, and Daryl was telling them, and they mentioned that they didn't have anything going on. So Daryl's like, well, why don't I just come pick you up and you have Christmas Day dinner with us? Because we do a filet mignon. We do a really nice filet and crab legs. And so they came and had supper with us. And it was just lovely. In fact, on the way home, Daryl said, his mom said, I don't think that evening could have been any nicer.
That's so precious.
And it was really precious. So it was just a really great holiday.
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I'm very thankful.
That's awesome. Well, today we want to talk about the letdown of the holidays. So we haven't talked about this a lot, but you are an Enneagram 7. We haven't talked about the Enneagram a lot on here, but this is something we've talked about.
What are you?
I'm an Enneagram 6. A lot of people think I'm a 7 or even a 3 sometimes.
You got to be a 6-wing 7.
I am a 6-wing 7, absolutely. But if you're unfamiliar with that, Hallmark Enneagram 7 is high energy, loves
a party,
often extroverts, avoids sadness and pain often. The 6, we have a lot of anxiety, but mine's different. It's like I don't really struggle with a lot of outward anxiety, but I structure my life so that I don't get anxious. But because I have a wing 7, I love a party too. And I think sometimes this time of year for me can be kind of a letdown.
Yeah, because you're Mr. Christmas.
I am Mr. Christmas. The only thing I have left is Disney.
I mean, there is like the fake snow out around all the little Christmas buildings in your house. Like,
well, we don't take the village down.
Yeah,
I can't take it all down on the same day. That's just too much. We take down the tree and the nutcrackers. And then we leave up winter things like the Christmas village stays up for a little bit. Because legitimately, it's like sad for me. I think some people, and it's okay if you're one or the other, some people find a lot of, what's the verb? Like catharticism? It's cathartic for people to like clean the day after Christmas and have like a bear house.
And everything be like fresh.
And back together. Right. And that is the opposite for me. That makes me too sad. I don't like to do it all.
Me. Oh. I want it all put away. I want everything freshly vacuumed. I want to be like, and now we're ready for spring.
But it's the problem for me is it's not spring. It's still cold and dark and snowy for a couple more months. But anyway, I definitely experience like a holiday letdown,
like holiday letdown blues. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really real. I was doing a little bit of research this morning about it because I wanted to know what are some factors that contribute to that. And maybe for me, is there something I need to adjust or I need to avoid?
Oh, I want to tell you what I do. Wait, let me tell you something that I have done for the last 3 years that has helped me tremendously.
Okay. I want to know.
Our boys, when they leave at the holidays, it's not just a holiday letdown. It is like they are leaving. They have their own houses. They don't live here anymore. I know we're going to talk about this in a future episode, but I get this dull, soft hollowness within me. And I have to plan something. Now, this is not everybody can do this. I realize this. But there are ways you can do this out around your life, whether it's scheduling a book date with yourself to read but I have scheduled things for me to do right after they leave.
Absolutely.
That help me and distract me from feeling really sad, or I could hole up. Right. So I have to get up, get a shower. Like today, I got up, got a shower, put my makeup on, did my hair, and I'm planning things that help me not feel so sad.
Right, absolutely. Well, I think here's what happens to us in the post-holiday blues. Sometimes because we have heightened expectations and we have excitement and we have so many social engagements often during the holiday season, whether it's with family, friends, work, even like going to the store from October to December is a whole different experience. Everything is so hyped. And then we come down from that and it's like, what's going on? Another thing that contributes to it is financial stress. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I'm saying it happens is sometimes in the excitement of the holidays or the eating or the presents or whatever, we kind of listen, I have been known to let go of the budget a little bit. I have been known to panic buy a gift. I did it this year for Mallory.
Well, because her gifts got lost by Amazon.
Amazon lost some of her gifts. So I had to panic shop, but I will say I found some lovely things at this store downtown that we both love called Blue Spruce. Blue Spruce, if you are listening. I panic bought some things for her, but So I understand if the budget thing can be hard.
Right.
But then what happens is come January 1st, guess what? You look at those statements and you go, oh, we went out to eat a lot more. Or for me, listen, I think I bought like 4 bags of sugar between October and Christmas. I made my hard candies.
It's all that hard candy. Which, by the way, I packed a little snack bag for Daryl. He was going somewhere today, and I packed a little snack bag of.
That's so awesome.
And boy, did he take that and stick it right in his hoodie
pocket.
Oh,
that's awesome. So I think, we at the holidays, I know I'm like this. I'm like, yeah, order the steak. Yeah, order more food to have more food in the house. And then come January, we're like, we put a dent in that. So I think we have that. The other thing that I think that we as humans can struggle with is the comparison game of the holidays. And I think,
I don't do that.
I do.
Well,
I do. I struggle with that. Here's why.
And also, let me just say this. I also think that could be an age demographic thing.
Probably.
Because when you're 55, you don't give a shit.
Oh.
About what other people have or are doing. Because what you have is what you have.
Well, and I'll tell you, here's where I struggle with it.
Sorry, I said the S word.
If you have children
Francine.
in the car.
Sorry,
Francine, my mom.
I love Francine. Sorry, Francine. I shouldn't have said the S word.
Here's what I struggle with. There's a family that I grew up with in my old church. I used to work for them. They owned a restaurant, and they're really great people. They come from a big Italian family.
Okay.
And honestly, sometimes I struggle because they like rent a hall, kind of how you did with your Amish family at Thanksgiving.
Right.
They'll rent a hall and have 60 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes on the holidays, it's just my family and my mom. And so I think that's where I struggle. I don't look at people and go, I want that gift. I want those decorations.
That's what I thought you were meaning.
No, I look at people sometimes and go, man, it's so fun that they have such a big family. That's where I can struggle. And then I think what goes in with that is managing our expectations of what the holidays actually look like. It has been, and I mentioned Emma and Adrian in my good day, but it has really been a gift having them around. They're like aunts and uncles to my kids.
Oh yeah. As soon as I walked in the door, Luca told me they were here.
Yeah. Luca was 2 when we met them, and he's 10 now. So they've been in our life for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And so having people that fill that void is really special. But I do still struggle with that when I see big families and listen, I know behind the scenes there's probably some dysfunction and it's not perfect. And I can talk myself out of that. But I do look at that and go, ooh, that would be really fun.
Yeah. And listen, it's also up to us if we don't have that to create an alternative to that, which
100%.
is what they are, Adrian, that's what they are.
And honestly, I said to you,
it's
I don't know if you remember.
Tell me, Adrian, Emma. That's what they are. You have said, okay, I'm going to create something extra for our family or you and Mal. I mean,
and I've said this to you before, is we have both spent holidays separate and kind of sad about being separate. And I said, we need to, you and I and our families, because we're really, honestly, this is kind of the opposite dynamic of a lot of families, is we're really good in the day to day.
Right.
But sometimes on big holidays, we don't talk to each other about what we're doing.
And so that brunch was great.
It was perfect because it was December 26th.
Let me just say something. Right here.
This is going to make me so happy. I already know what you're going to say.
When you have kids, small kids, and you go over to somebody's house, get it together. That's so funny. I'm serious. Like we have had situations where parents let their children run rampant in our house, and guess what? They never came over again.
Right.
Because I'm just not going to have it.
Right.
I'm just not going to be.
Because you're 55
I'm not gonna,
and
no,
you don't
I'm
give
not,
up.
I'm not going to bear witness to you allowing your children to do whatever they want in our home.
Right.
And check yourself before you wreck my house. Or our house. I just feel like your kids, and I know that you all have conversations. I know that you talk to your kids, but your kids came to our house and they were like little adults. They were like little angels. Same with my niece's kids are like, they're like little adult people. Yeah. They're like, Aunt Leanne, may I go upstairs to look at the bedrooms?
That's precious.
It's just like, and your kids were that way. They were like, Aunt Leanne, may I crack nuts? And they call me Yaya. They're like, Yaya, can I crack nuts? I'm like, let's set up a little nut cracking station because it makes a huge mess. But they knew that.
Yeah. And they asked before they dug into everything.
Before it was everywhere. And so I do think that when you have small children, don't just think, I mean, even if it's your parents, don't just allow your children to run amok. It's just not fair to the people that are hosting.
Right.
And the kids were just so cute. And say the ages of your kids again so people can imagine.
10, 6, and 3.
Okay. So 10, obviously Luca's like a little man.
Right.
But 6 and 3, that is an age where they could be wild.
Totally.
If permitted.
Right.
And I know you had a conversation with them on the way where you talk to them about it, like, this is how we're going to act, and this is how we're not going to act, and that's because we love Yaya and Dee,
and we want to come back to Yaya's house.
and you know, those conversations, I think sometimes, and I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but sometimes we say, this is how you're going to behave. You better behave. Like, I feel like I was raised in a era or generation where parents just said what the rules were, and you had to abide by them.
Right.
And if
or
you
had a consequence.
Or you had a consequence.
Right.
We were never really, it was never really a discussion where where I felt I was part of that decision making.
Right.
We have always talked to our boys and had conversations similar to the ones that you had with your kids on the way to my house, and give them ownership. Like, I think if there was one thing I was going to say to parents of young kids that I think is an oversight, is sometimes, especially if we're busy, it's easy just to say what the rules are, bark out what the expectations are, and not have conversations.
Right.
We overlook sometimes that these are growing in, these little people are future adults.
Absolutely.
They're growing into adulthood. So if we don't start talking to them that way and having conversations, it's just going to be all about rules and whether I follow them or not.
Yes. I think we should do a segment called Rabbit Holes, because we find ourselves in rabbit holes quite a bit.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Because honestly, that could be a whole episode by itself.
Yes.
So in regards to the holiday blues, I think there is psychology around when we anticipate events. This can be the holidays, this can be a vacation, this can be anything. Sometimes the buildup or the anticipation or the excitement is actually better than the actual event. And so we can spend months getting ready for the holidays so that we have that big buildup, and then all of a sudden it's over and it can feel like a letdown. And I also think the last thing that happens to us is when we return to our regular normal routine, sometimes that can feel hard. Like, I will never take for granted the days when I can sit at home. I posted some pictures over break of, you know, my daughter snuggling me watching a movie.
Right.
Like, I will never take those for granted, because I know that's special and those are good moments, and I have a job that allows me to do that, and not everybody does.
Right.
But it's hard to go back because I love those moments so much. So then it's kind of leaves us with, well, what's a person to do?
Right.
You know, what do we do when we have that funk?
Right. And Matt, listen, we also have to consider our children are experiencing a version of the same thing.
Oh, I actually never thought of that.
So when your kids go back to school and they get back into their routine, have grace for them, because they're experiencing the same type thing in a different way. And
we experience that often. Honestly, we experience that a lot of Mondays because Remy, our 3-year-old, she spends a lot of time with our moms when we go to work, but we also do have a babysitter for 1 day a week. And on Mondays, she goes to the babysitter, and those can be hard because she's had 2 days with mom and dad and her brothers. And, you know, some of our weekends are lazy, fun weekends, and she doesn't want to get back in the routine just as much as we don't. And I think giving your kids grace for that is important.
And having a conversation.
Totally.
Like, hey, it's hard for me to get back into this too. And I know it's probably hard to think about going back to school and homework and all of that. So, yeah.
So I think when we find ourselves in this place, because, you know, the New Year's are over, all the hype of New Year's Eve, and that's kind of a fun thing to look forward to, but that's over. And so it's kind of like leaves us with January.
Well, and if you live in Ohio.
Yeah, that's right.
January and gray. Gray.
It's been warmer than normal this year, but it can be really gray. So what's a person to do? And I think you said the first thing in our opening was just have like a schedule. Wake up. Get your stuff ready.
Call a friend and say, hey, after work today, do you want to meet for a quick drink, or do you want to go
run an errand
together, or do you want to go get our nails done?
Yeah.
I mean, just plan things that bring you up.
You know what we do is Luca's birthday. Luca turned 10 on December 23rd. And he is kind of at the age, we've never done a friend birthday party, but we are going to do that this year. I don't know what we're going to do quite yet because we planned it in the like 3rd or 4th week of January is when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because December 23rd is a hard time to ask people to give us their kids or beat for wings or a movie or a trampoline or whatever. So we intentionally told him we will do a birthday party, but we're going to wait till January because we don't have anything going on. Everybody's kind of looking for something to get a reason to get out of the house. We do that too with our Disney Danielle and our friend Maggie and Matt. We get together with them on Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. We often don't see them between Thanksgiving and Christmas because we all know we're busy with kids. So we plan that on Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend so we can see each other. We have something to look forward to. I think it's so great.
For January and February.
I would say don't plan to go to Disney that weekend though.
No.
It's not a good time to go. Everybody goes. Everybody goes that
for
weekend.
Real?
It's expensive and it's busy.
For real?
Yeah, that's a side note. We're not going down the Disney rabbit hole.
Okay.
Another thing is maybe start some new traditions. Yeah. You know, a new tradition for us was the Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. Yes. Start something new in January. Yes. I know people that will also push off their Christmas parties and just call them winter holiday parties in January.
This? Like read.
Oh yeah.
January, February.
Hooga.
January, February, March is the perfect time to grab a series.
Totally.
Grab some books you've been wanting to read and read.
Oh my gosh. A good number of people, you know, I don't like to exaggerate. I would say 8 to 10 people had messaged us over the last couple of weeks that were like, we want to know what you're reading. Both of us, which I think is so sweet.
Well, what I'm reading currently is I read Fourth Wing and I loved it. And then, you know, and there are dragons in this book. No. So if that's not you, then, you know, whatever. But I love a good teen fiction.
Yeah.
I love a good series that puts me in this place of like, it's fantasy fiction.
Right.
I love it. And so I read Fourth Wing, and then I'm right now in the first part of the second book called Iron Flame. Ooh. And just really a good 2-book series. And I would say that helps me in the winter to get into a story or get into a book where I feel like in the evening that we have a fire, you know, we have a live fire.
You love the fire.
I love the fire. I really, so I said to Daryl recently, and I think I even said it on the podcast before, is that I don't ever want to live in a house in Ohio in the winter without live fire.
Right.
Because it just helps. It helps me with just winter blues. Yeah. It just helps.
I'm actually not reading anything right now. I kind of let it go at the holidays and haven't picked it back up. But
what
I will
do you want to read?
What do I want to read?
Yeah.
I don't actually know. You know, I go back to whenever I get in a mood, I read a lot of nonfiction, like leadership books that are great. You know, I love that. I know. But I also, I kind of go back to some of those easy read people like James Patterson, Frida McFadden. I talked about her a couple episodes ago. Some of those like crime mystery.
Yes.
And I don't like stuff that's too salacious. Like
What's been one of your favorite recent ones?
It was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I mean, that was more like this summer I talked about it, but that one sticks out in my mind. And then Mallory subscribed to Kindle Unlimited. And I just kept reading her books. You know, if you are a reader, our 10-year-old is a reader. He will fly through books. You know,
he got a Kindle for Christmas.
Yeah, well,
He was so impressed with it.
We'll send this child to the book fair. You remember the Scholastic book fairs? We'll send this child with $20 to the book fair. He'll come back with a couple books. He'll read them in like a weekend. And Mallory and I talked.
You all have always cultivated reading.
Yeah. And Mallory and I talked about it. I'm like, we can't afford to keep books for this child. So we actually, what we did for Christmas was we bought him a Kindle. We bought it on Black Friday, so it was a great deal. And Mallory has her library card connected to his Kindle. So if there's something he's interested in or he wants to read, Mallory can, from her phone, push a book out to his Kindle, and it's free.
Listen, I know there's lots of statistics on reading and just overall intelligence, but I just can't say enough how important it is to cultivate reading in your kids.
Yeah. So here's the other thing that I love doing this time of year is I have a little hobby. We haven't talked about it a lot, but I like to do embroidery. And it started because of Stitch Along with Jen. She's someone I met, and she makes beautiful things.
Incredible things.
And I thought to myself, Matt, you can do this. Yeah. You should try it.
And you can. And you have.
Yeah, and I have. And I do it honestly from when it gets dark. It's kind of one of those things that I'm drawn to do at night. And then I honestly didn't touch it all summer. And so that's kind of one of my winter hygges. And for Christmas, I don't know if you noticed this, but the paint by numbers are coming back in style.
Yes, they are.
That's like all these 70s crafts, like macrame, wall hangings, paint by numbers. I actually got Mallory some paint by numbers for Christmas, and she's been doing that. And it's those little things like that just to keep our mind active. Yes. Oh, and I'll say the other thing is puzzles. We love having a puzzle on the dining room table.
Didn't I just tell you I wanted to buy a puzzle? I wanted to get a puzzle to be putting together over the holidays. I just think it's good for your brain.
So those are all great things. You know, I don't know if you're experiencing the holiday blues, those that are listening, but I know that this time of year can be one of those things. So my encouragement to you is take care of yourself.
Yes.
Be great. Find some gratitude.
Yes.
Plan things. Plan to get out with friends.
Get a new pair of slippers.
Listen, maybe it's just take a shower.
Yes. Yes. Seriously.
Honestly. Or maybe start a new hobby.
Yeah.
You know, this is a great time of year to go to a craft store and say like, oh, what can I pick up? Or what can I try? I don't know if I want to put this in writing in case it doesn't happen. I'm actually at our local art center going to take a ukulele class this spring.
I'm just so impressed.
Yeah. Hey, before we wrap up, I have two things I want to say. The first one is, while we've been sitting here, a listener that I love that's honestly been with us since the beginning, her name is Stacy Klein. She's one of my friend's moms.
Okay.
Texted me a picture of her and her grandson with her These Are Good Day mugs. And she said, this is my good day, is having a sleepover with your 4-year-old grandson over the holidays.
And
love it.
Yeah, and you're shopping mugs, man. You're
That's
getting
right.
ready to
We
design
need more
that
mugs.
second mug.
The other thing
is so great, Stacy. I love that.
Stacy. And you know, Stacy is actually coming to January 20th. So we're going to meet.
Great.
You're going to meet her in person.
Yes,
I've met
so
her,
great.
but you're going to meet her. The other thing is Walnut Creek Cheese. We are so thankful for their partnership. What Walnut Creek Cheese things did you eat?
Okay.
Besides doodads.
First of all, I'm going to readdress it. You know I am. Walnut Creek Cheese and Market is the retail location of Walnut Creek Foods. Walnut Creek Foods is the big brand that you can probably find in your local grocer in your town.
You know what? Someone was messaging me a couple weeks ago and was like, where can I find Walnut Creek Foods products? And so I went on their website, and you know what's so
Whose
cool?
website? Walnut
Creek Foods.
Oh.
If you go to Walnut Creek Foods, I don't know if it's walnutcreekfoods.com.
I think it is.
But if you Google it, you'll find it. If you go to their website,
there's a locator.
There is a locator where you can put in your zip code to see how close the stores are around you that carry Walnut Creek Foods products. So if I were you, you know, maybe you need to plan a little getaway, or not a getaway, but like a little adventure. Maybe a little adventure you can take in January is Google or use their locator to find stores that carry Walnut Creek Foods products. And you know, we have some favorites. I love some of their mustards. My 6-year-old, the funny thing about him is he loves those pickled eggs. Oh, yes. The purple
they're
beet
good.
eggs.
They're so good there.
He loves beets.
Yeah, it's walnutcreekfoods.com. Yeah.
Yes. So use that locator and you can find products for them. Yeah. That would be a
so
great little day trip or adventure you could take during this holiday blue season.
Things I used over the holidays that I love from there. I used their red raspberry jalapeno jam jelly or jam jelly. And I used the small jar to pour over whipped cream cheese, and it was delicious.
You know what you made over the holidays that I could not stop eating at your house was the thumbprint cookies.
Oh, so good.
You used their preserves, their seedless jams.
Seedless red raspberry jam from Walnut Creek Foods. And I put that in the thumbprint. Those thumbprints are like a classic in our house. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, well, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation about the post-holiday blues. We hope that you see every day that there are ways that you can make your experience here better, and the ways that you can change kind of the trajectory of how you think and feel. So thanks again for joining us. You know, whether ordinary or extraordinary, we hope you see that these are good days.
This episode brought to you by Walnut Creek Foods.